So, you'd like to know where to find fall colors in the mountains of southern Utah? Well, look no further. Our virtual video tour will take you to the high mountains above Cedar City, where there are lots of aspen groves. The mountainous area above and east of Cedar City is sometimes called Cedar Mountain or Cedar Breaks. People also know it as the area where the town of Duck Creek and the ski resort town of Brinehead are located. But the real name of this entire mountainous region is the Markagont Plateau. The Markagont is a series of plateaus in south-central Utah, including the Pasture and Aquarius plateaus. Bryce Canyon National Park is located on Pasture. With such unique plateau names, it's understandable that most people use the names that are easier to pronounce. By taking this virtual video tour with us, you'll see some of our favorite spots to find fall colors on the Markagont. We'll also show you how to find these places. On the map, here's the location of our tour. You can see where we'll be going in relation to population centers such as Las Vegas, St. George, and Cedar City. We start our tour by heading east on Highway 14 out of downtown Cedar City and follow the signs leading to Cedar Breaks National Monument. Although we're going to take a specific route and stop at specific places, keep in mind that these are all just recommendations. When you plan your own road trip, you can adjust your route to see the places that you want to see most. The maps you'll be seeing were provided by Gaia GPS. I've created a GPX file that you can download from our blog and then upload into Gaia GPS on your mobile device so that you can more easily find these places when on your road trip. The address for our website blog is at the end of this video. There's also a discount coupon code to purchase Gaia GPS, just in case you don't already own it. Speaking of Gaia GPS, we're now going to switch to the National Forestry map layer for this area, which will give us more detail. This is one of the many map layers available to Gaia GPS users. After driving 14.5 miles from Cedar City, we reach a turnoff on the right called Webster Flat, which is Forestry Road 052. Driving down this road for about 2 miles will take us to the road's namesake and Deer Haven Campground. This is our first stop inside a large grove of aspens. We'll return to Highway 14 and turn right. We'll drive by the scenic viewpoint that looks far down into Zion Canyon, as well as a small hiking trail that takes you to a stand of bristlecone pine trees. Soon after that, you'll see the turnoff on the left to Cedar Breaks National Monument. Reset your vehicle's trip meter to 0 at this turnoff and continue straight on Highway 14 towards Duck Creek. At 6 miles, there's a viewpoint of Navajo Lake where you can stop and possibly get a good view of aspens on the ridge on the other side of the lake. Continue on until your trip meter is at about 11.5 miles. Watch for the sign indicating Aspen Mirror Lake. The turnoff is on the left and is Road 057. Here, you can take a short, less than a mile walk to a pond that has an aspen tree stand on its southwest side. If you time it right with the sun, the wind, and of course if the leaves are changing, you'll experience this spectacular reflection and understand how the lake got its name. After you're finished with Aspen Mirror Lake, head back to Highway 14. Reset your trip meter again and turn right back towards Cedar City. At 9.4 miles, turn right onto a dirt road. Then, in a short distance, turn right again onto Forestry Road 240. You'll stay on this road for around 6 miles. 240 passes through a lot of aspen groves. One thing unique about the landscape here and different than other aspen tree forests is the addition of black lava basalt rock that was spewed out by numerous volcanic vents in cinder cones located all over the Markagont Plateau. We'll take 240 to a place on the map called Horse Pasture. Here we'll take in the views of individual stands of aspens that really stand out amongst the black basalt. We could continue on 240 all the way to the pavement of Highway 143, but after 240 turns left and north, it becomes very rough. We'll leave that to the ATV folks. So, we'll head back to Highway 14 and turn right. I'm also going to switch back to the standard Gaia GPS map because it shows better detail when I zoom out. Once back at Highway 14, look for the turnoff to Cedar Breaks that we passed by earlier. This time we will take that road, so turn right onto Highway 148 and reset your trip meter again. As we pass through Cedar Breaks National Monument, we often stop at one or more of the overlooks because the views below never get old. Plus, we might see more fall colors. Then, at 7.5 miles, turn right onto Highway 143 towards Panguitch. We're now heading downhill. Continue until your trip meter reaches 12.5 miles and turn right onto a well-maintained dirt road. Let me switch back to the forestry map. This road is labeled 241 on the forestry map, but 240 on Google Maps. It turns into 240 in about 2 miles. In a quarter of a mile, the road turns right and crosses Mammoth Creek. Stop here and hopefully you'll have a great view of aspens turning from yellow to orange to red like we did. You might want to take a short walk up the creek to get a closer look at the trees. Continue on 240 for another few hundred feet and you'll have a view of yet more aspens on your left. You can continue on 240 for the next 5 or 6 miles like we did. We'll pass through another meadow like we did the last time we were on 240, but without the basalt. And that wraps up our tour. Head back to Highway 143 and turn left to return to Highway 148. At the stop sign, if you have time left over, turn right to drive up to Brinehead Peak. Look for the turnoff onto the dirt road on the right, 1.5 miles from the stop sign. If you do scale Brinehead Peak, it's usually a fairly well-maintained dirt road. However, it is a bit steep, which can make it bumpy with washboard if there's been a lot of traffic. I'd advise taking a truck or SUV rather than a standard sedan. Once you get to the top, the view from the 11,300-foot-high peak is incredible. Oh, one last thing about going on this tour. You'd probably like to know when to go. Aspens typically start their color changes at the higher elevations first because that's where it gets cold first. As the cooler temperatures drop lower and lower in elevation, the aspens respond accordingly. So, an early cold snap could start the process early, or, if temperatures stay warm, the changes won't happen until later in the fall. This is why it's so difficult to predict exactly when the colors will be changing. However, our rough guess for the right time is anywhere from the last 2 weeks of September until the first 2 weeks of October. A good way to increase your odds of finding fall colors before you hit the road would be to take the time to call a few places on the Markagont, such as the Cedar Breaks Visitor Center, the Cedar City Visitor Center, or a store in either Duck Creek or Brinehead. Ask them if the leaves are changing yet. All right, we'll begin the visual segment of the tour now, starting at the turnoff to Webster Flat and the view of Zion Canyon and the Virgin River Basin below. Enjoy the views, along with the spectacular scenery in fall colors. We hope you enjoyed our tour of the fall colors on the Markagont Plateau. If you'd like to download that GPX file pinpointing the places we visited in this tour, go to the web address on your screen. Search for Fall Colors above Cedar City, then select that article. The article includes detailed instructions for this trip. Scroll down to the trip map section and click here to download the GPX file. Click on the ad here to get that discount if you're going to purchase Gaia GPS. Thanks for coming along with us on our tour, and as always, happy exploring the Great Southwest.